Hey guys, we're back here with our 2006 Ford Explorer, and we are going to be taking care of the rear strut on here. These ones are original to the vehicle, 157,000 miles, so we just thought we'd get those swapped out for some new ones. Now, it's a fairly straightforward job. A few things we have to do. These two bolts down here, this one and this one we have to remove. This holds the strut in place. This one's a front knuckle, so hopefully this whole arm can kind of just back down a little bit. And also, that one, we're just going to loosen slightly. Now, on this, we do need to take off our sway bar end link, and up top here, there we go. There's a bolt here, here, and just one behind. That's a 13 millimeter. Now, these guys down here, these are 24 millimeters, and let's go ahead and get started. Get those removed now. Now, in full disclosure, I did go through and pre-loosen a bunch of these just because this guy on the other side fought me tooth and nail. This one fought me too. It actually broke halfway down, so I'll have to stop and get a new one of those when we reassemble. But let's go ahead and let's remove these two here. Now I'm just going to remove the shock one first, or the strut one first, I should say. 24 millimeter. There's going to be a nut on the other side of it. And since I've pre-loosened it, I can use my baby impact here just to make it easy. And of course, the nut goes all the way in the middle. There's the nut. There's the bolt. Just stick those together so they don't get lost. Nice thing is, this front one, the one on the nut on it's a flag nut, so you don't need another wrench to do anything. There you go. Baby impact's not doing it. Now it should do something. Go. Woo! Got that one out. And there's our flag nut. Now these top ones here, they're 13 millimeter. There's no good way to access these, so get a ratcheting wrench. One of these guys. If you have to go to the store and buy one just for this job, it is well worth it. Now I did go through and I pre-sprayed everything with some penetrating fluid. Just because everything seems to be in a spot to where it's going to get rusty, crusty. And don't be surprised if these top ones fight you a little bit. They're nylon nuts on the top, and so, you know, when they heat up, they're going to get sticky when you're undoing them. The threads have goo all over it from dirt and debris and salt and everything, so. I'm going to go ahead and get all these taken off. We're getting this last one taken off right now. Past the nylon, the nut is out. That's what was fighting us. There's 3 of those right there at the top. So we got all our bolts out. So now we just need to loosen that one right there. So we can kind of jiggle this arm and get it to come loose. I'm just going to do this with our 24. Let's see here. Then we got another big one. Create a cheater bar, because you will need one on these. There we go. Alright, so now in theory, everything's loose. We should just be able to separate it from right here. You see my finger right here. Down here, this bushing should be able to come out. Now this whole arm should just drop to the ground. So we're just gonna see what we can do to shake this out. Okay, so what we've done is, see, I've put just a little tiny jack under this control arm right here. And that's kind of got a little bit of way. I'm going to just hit right here with a rubber mallet to separate the control arm here from this knuckle. There we go. Then our strut can just come right on out. Problem we're having is right here. So this part's rounded and it just kind of tucks right in underneath there. And this just goes up and down. There's not a lot of in and out movement, so it's to get past that. Now comes the fun part. So that's removal. Got to compress this spring, pull this whole mounting apart so we can get our new strut in. Now on this, you're going to want to pre-penetrate that guy right there. It is 17 millimeter, and I can guarantee you this guy's not going to move. And so it's cut for hex heads at the top, which is an 8. Go. Okay, now before all you nannies tell me this spring's gonna fly off and kill me, I know. So, I wanted to break that loose first before I get my spring compressors on here. Now, the biggest thing on these babies, I want to make sure they line up vertical to what you're doing. So I'm just going to choose a reference point on the spring. Make sure I get both sides even. There. One. The other one. Now, if you don't have spring compressors, you could rent these from the parts store, pick them up on Amazon, dirt cheap. I think I paid all $24 for these, which is just really not that much money. Okay, so you got those on. Make sure they're straight. See, straight. Now, let's tighten these babies down and get this strut out of here. Oh my gosh, the struggle is real, folks. See? See? It's real. The real struggle. First one down, of course. Second one moves. Want to make sure they stay even. They have to stay even. The whole mount moves in there, so here on the top, remember, these ratcheting wrenches, they're a blessing. I'm gonna get 17 on, I'm gonna get that 8 on. Go to town. Lay it down. There we go. Grab the new strut. bolt, we don't need to reuse that because the new one comes with the bolt. This top guy, we do have to reuse that. It's a bushing and a plate. I'm going to pull this guy off, reusing that. Actually, this bushing. It should just. There we go. Stay together. Even better. That way they're not going to fall apart. Now we're just going to separate the strut. Now, joust bumper. Reuse that unless you bought a new one. Let's take the top bolt off of this guy. Set it aside for a quick second. Joust bumper back on. We've got the spring dust boot already in this. The strut dust boot already in the shop. Make sure your spring's lined up there. Set it in. These ones didn't have any rubber guys on here. If they did, you want to transplant those to the new spring. There's another rubber thing in there. I just want to make sure your spring is lined up right where it needs to go. You got it by visual. I looked at it. You can feel it. Right there, the spring is right seated where it needs to be. Everything's perfect. And we're going to take our new nut. We're going to put it on here. And of course, the strut's going to spin. So this just has flaps built in, it's not a hex side. So just get that 8. It's actually a little bit smaller, but I got the 8. It's gonna work. That guy put on there. Tighten down now. So we got that where it needs to go. The spring is sitting in our strut where it needs to go. We got our top bolt tightened down. Let's relieve the pressure on this spring and reinstall. We want to relieve the pressure gradually on each side. I went a little further than when I tightened it down. To tighten it down, I want to be a little bit more careful because, you know, it can explode and kill you, just like everybody says. Spring compressor, done, and off. I just want to make sure this top bolt's all the way tight. Get an adjustable wrench so I can match these flats exactly where they need to be. That is good. That's where it's supposed to be. Now, guys, let's reinstall this back in the car. Shouldn't be too difficult. Like I said, the hardest part is probably breaking all the bolts loose and breaking that sway bar link like I did prior. So let's get you resituated over here. Let's get this put back in. Alright guys, now we're just going to reinstall it. We got our control arm hanging down freely. Everything's loosey-goosey. So let's get this baby back up where she needs to go. Think of it as grabbing the nuts that go to the top, but you're going to need one to hold it in place. So just going to get it back here, lift it up. Oh, come on. your nuts back on top. There we go. Now that arm's going to stay in place while we tighten those nuts back down. Where'd my 13 go? Losing tools. Losing tools. Get your 13mm wrench. And again, ratcheting wrenches save lives. I'll be honest, guys, these go on a whole lot easier than they come off. But again, ratcheting wrench, just ratcheting box wrench here. If you don't have them, pick them up. Even if you have to just go to the store and buy a 13mm just for this job, you'll thank me later. There we go. We got all three of those up there tightened down. So now let's go. Let's reassemble the bottom here. We're struggling a little bit, so we loosen the top bolts just so we can have a little bit more movement down here at the bottom, so we can get everything placed back where it needs to be, snugged in where it should go. I have a little jack here just so we're not going to be fighting with this arm. The strut, bolt in. Now that I got that in, I'll snug down these top bolts. Everything loose there, everything was able to go together. Fairly simple. Well, that part. Still need to put the front bolt into this hub and get that set where it needs to go. All right, so let's drop that for a minute. We're gonna just snug this guy down. we're not tightening anything because we need to make sure we have the weight of the suspension on it all first. Now we need to get this bushing and everything back into the control arm so we can reassemble the whole unit. Now it fought me on the other side when I did that. Trying to get this back in. So, I can show you some of the tricks that we learned over there. Over here. A lot of jacking up. That just centered it. Now it just needs to fall back into place here. See? Just like that. A little lower. Down. Grab. And some more. Pry bar in here. There we go. Almost where we need to be. Let's my mallet. Lower it. It's like me, you just kind of lose everything. So we got one side. Let's see if we can get it all lined up here. Remember to get our flag nut on the other side. And it's through. Now, we position this in the lowest point, which is right under the shock. Jack it up all the way. And I can tell you, that's the full weight on the suspension. And so I'm going to tighten everything down. Use our big wrench here. Cheater bar if you have to. Now I'm just feeling on the other side, make sure this nut's not turning, which it's not, so that's good. Okay, remember, we did loosen this guy here in the back. Alright guys, last step after we got everything. We got all 3 bolts tightened on the top. We put weight on the suspension. We got all 3 bolts tightened here at the bottom. Last thing to do, since we broke our sway bar end links, let's put one in. So let's show you how to get that done here. So on this, bottom nut's going to be 15 millimeter. Comes with these nice little bushings, and then, you know, all other jobber guys you put in. Fish. That up through the bottom. We're going to put our bushing in. Then we're going to put our insert in the middle. We're going to go up. And then put our bushing, put our washer on the bushing, push it up through the hole, and put our bushing on the top. Now the top one doesn't have a washer because it's built in with this guy. Get that guy screwed on. Get this tightened down. So, 15 at the bottom, and a 16 at the top. Get these guys smooshed down. Feeling really awkward here. There we go. That's a little less so. just about there, fellas and ladies. Snug that down. Those start to mushroom a little bit. All is right in the world. And with that being said, guys, that's how you replace the rear struts in your 2006 Ford Explorer. Now, if you like what you saw here, give us that thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and stay tuned for more.